Michael Morales is definitely on everybody's radar now. The undefeated entrant Gym Star aced his most significant test to date in the Ultimate Fighting Championship welterweight division as he buried Gilbert Burns with punches in the first round of their UFC Fight Night 256 headliner on Saturday at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Morales is now 18-0, 6-0 in the UFC. Closed the show and took a figurative bow at 3:39 into round one. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a contender on our hands here. Burns, 22-9, journeyman, had no answers for the Ecuadorian brute. Morales sent the Killcliff Fight Club mainstay into a back pedal with a sweeping right hook and had him ducking for cover along the fence. Burns retreated to the canvas while being swarmed, but found no refugees there and instead returned to his feet. Morales was waiting though. He unleashed his hands again, drove Burns to the mat, and prompted the stoppage. Meanwhile, the Ultimate Fighter Season 32 winner Marion Santos rode a potent clinch game and multi-pronged attack to unanimous decision over Sadiq Youssef in the 3-round lightweight co-main. All three members of the assigned judiciary sided with Santos, 16-1, 3-0 in the UFC. Youssef, 13-5, 6-4 in the UFC. This guy, he has to be cut after this. Played into the Brazilians' hands for a majority of their encounter. The Lloyd Irvin disciple leaned heavily on leg kicks, but failed to do much else to differentiate himself. Santos caught him with a head kick and abused him along the fence with knees, short punches, and shoulder strikes. Distance between the two men grew over time. Sense of urgency Youssef needed down the stretch was nowhere to be found, allowing his opponent to stay in his comfort zone and cruise to another victory. Santos, 24, has won 4 fights in a row. Another contender here, my friends. Santos is young still. He cuts 40 pounds. So he's definitely a weight bully, but he's young enough to be able to maintain cutting that kind of weight. Further down the card, ex-World Earth and Mayash Federation champion Nursultan Ruzabov boosted his stock with a unanimous decision over Dustin Stoltzfus in their 3-round middleweight attraction. Either way, that's not what we really wanted to talk about. That's just the recap from UFC Fight Night 256, but what we really want to talk about is the changing of the guard in the UFC's welterweight division. As you will see here by this graphic that I'm going to place up onto the screen sometime now. Scroll it down. Got too many mice here. Never has there been such a clear-cut changing of the guard in MMA history. Look at what's going on here. All the names you used to know are on the way out. 5 years ago, if you walked into a bar talking UFC, you were yapping about Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington, hell, even freaking Tyron Woodley was still hanging on by a thread, but now, forget about it. The whole generation, boom, gone. Vamoose, replaced. Like an old pair of socks you find behind the dryer. Ain't nobody using them no more. Look, Usman guy was a pound for pound a king, right? Dominated like freaking Terminator. That man had a jab like a sledgehammer, but then this sneaky little prick named Leon Edwards comes in and headshot dead. We all know the one. Knocked him out like he owed him money. Twice. Beats him twice. After that, Kamaru Usman's getting ragdolled by some Dagestani kid, and now he's sitting on the sidelines doing podcasts, looking like he just got out of tax court. Masvidal, this guy. Flying knee, BMF belt, all that jazz. Now he's promoting what? Now he's promoting slap fights like a guy trying to relive high school. You lost it, George. You lost it. Colby, still talking trash. Still using the MAGA gimmick. Still hasn't fought in what, 2 years? The guy's become a welterweight meme at this point. He's like that one dude from high school who did real well and now he's selling crypto. Now let me tell you a little bit of something about the new breed. These kids coming up, freaking animals. And I don't mean like Uncle up front Tony's Chihuahua. I mean wolves, okay? First up, Shavkat Rakhmonov, the interim champion, current destroyer, undefeated, still with a crazy record. And he don't even talk trash. He just shows up looking like a Bond villain and chokes you out on the scene. 18-0, all finishes. That's not a fighter, that's a freaking hitman. Then you got Jack Della Maddalena, just won the welterweight strap. Aussie kid, slick hands, brutal boxing. And he's got that walk you down and break your face style. Ian Garry. Look, I don't like the kid's mouth either, alright? And some of his weirdo antics. He talks like McGregor, but fights like a psycho with a vision board. But he's only lost one time. And he beat a former champ already. Whether you love him or hate him, the kid's got wheels and momentum and he knows what he's doing with the ladies. Annoying? Yeah, a little bit. But dangerous? You bet your bottom backside. And don't forget the Dagestanis. You got that Khabib blueprint being copied all over the UFC now amongst the Dagestanis. Bunch of wrestlers with beards, dead eyes, and no mercy. The Magomed Ulamutov guy? Watch out. These dudes ain't coming to play patty cake. They're here to grind you into a mild sausage. You blink, and then boom! You got a guy with a 12-letter first name sitting on top of you, pounding you in the face. And it ain't just the names changing, it's the style. Back in the day, you could get by with just some power and wrestling. Now, if you can't do it all, you're getting smoked. These new kids, they're mixing it up like a bartender at the beach. Striking, jiu-jitsu, clinch, Muay Thai, cardio for days. These kids grew up on MMA. Very far from back in the day where all you had to be was a wrestle boxer, aka Matt Hughes. This new generation, they are MMA. So where do we go from here? You now got a newly crowned king, Jack Della Maddalena, on the welterweight throne. Shavkat's coming. Bilal's still there. Hell, you never even know. Khamzat still has the ability to drop down to 170. You got the guy that just fought tonight, the Moraes. Danger City. It's a freaking Shark Tank now at welterweight. The days of charisma carrying you to a title shot like Colby Covington, long gone. You better fight like your life depends on it. Because against these kids, it does. So next time you're at the bar and you hear some bozo yelling about Colby Covington, smack him in the head with a chicken wing and tell him up front Tony says they're living in the past and is probably casual. This is a new era, my friends. The welterweight division is not the same, and it's rapidly changing. Out with the old, in with the new. The guard is changing like they do with that place in England. It's a younger division and nastier. And if you ain't keeping up, you're getting left in the fucking dust. So what do you guys think? What do you think about the new turnabout of events in the welterweight division? Do me a favor and leave your answer in comments. You might be one of the 5 people that watches my videos. What an honor. Real quick, let's have a glance at the welterweight division, why don't we? You got Sean Brady up there, real close to the top. Bilal, who just fell down. Jack Della Maddalena at the very top. Shavkat, the interim champion, is number 3. Isn't that crazy? Leon Edwards at 4. Going down. Kamaru Usman at 5. He's a podcaster now. Ian Machado Gary, right there in the middle. But you never know where he's going to go. Dangerous, young, and vicious. Lord of mercy, Joaquin Buckley. Take my word for it. Joaquin Buckley's going to get that strap sooner or later. Gilbert Burns at number 8. Not after tonight. How in the world is Colby Covington still number 9? I have no idea, but consider that done. Jeff Neal at number 10. Really? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Getting old, my friend. I would really like to see a fight against him and Michael Venom Page, though. Michael Moraes, number 12. He's going to be top 10 after this one. I tell you what, I would put Michael Moraes, number 8. He ain't going past Buckley. But I'll give him number 8 spot ahead of Colby, easy. Carlos Prates, even though he just come off a loss, he's still very, very up and coming. Vicente Luque, kind of the dark horse, man. He's always been there. He's always been around. He's very tough, but I just can't seem to get there. And then Michael Page, like I said, number 15. Still kind of older, but this guy is a very good fighter. Michael Venom Page, I would put him, I think he could beat everybody in the division. There's a chance Michael Venom Page could beat everybody in the division. He's very, very tricky. And plus, I kind of just like the guy. So we've got some interesting things going on in the welterweight division. In a combat sport that is losing its luster quickly. Well, just the UFC. Either way, that's neither here nor there. Do me a favor. May Allah bless you. May Jesus save you. May Buddha give you all the information you've been looking for. May the Hindu God keep you from turning blue like he did. And in the Lord's name we pray, Das Vidanya.